Hello and welcome to today's edition of Fitball Blast. For our workout today you will need a ball and you will also need a couple of medium weights. I'm using milk jugs. These are for pullovers. And we're also going to be doing an exercise where you're in a bent over position reaching overhead. So I'm going to use a piece of light tubing. You can use tubing, or if you don't have tubing, you can just use some lighter weights around the 5-pound range. You're not going to be able to lift super heavy in that position. So once you have everything going, we can get started. You can put your own tunes on. As usual, I won't have any background music going. So get yourself set up, get yourself some space, and we'll start with warming up the shoulders. Doing some backward shoulder rolls. Bring your shoulders all the way up to your ears, all the way down your back. And we'll do some forward shoulder rolls. Getting a little deeper into your chest and upper back. Open your arms wide and cross them in front. Just nice, easy swings. Two more. Moving into some torso rotations as well as some hamstring stretches. Step a little wider. Bring your arms out to the side. Rotate your torso and reach down. Touch your toes. You should feel a good stretch through the back of your leg, and you should also rotate as much as you can, getting your torso nice and warmed up. Go for two more each way. Excellent. Moving into some squats. This is to warm up your ankles, knees, and hips. You can go a bit narrower with your feet if you'd like. It's just a comfort-based exercise. So go about shoulder width apart, maybe a bit narrower or wider. Keep your feet flat on the floor. Sit your hips down and back. Make sure your knees and your toes point in the same direction. And as you get warmer, you can maybe get a bit deeper. It's okay if you want to point out with your toes a little bit. I know for me that allows me to get deeper into that squat. Depends on your joint structure and also your muscle tightnesses or weaknesses. Let's go for four more. Excellent. We'll move into some side lunges. So these are to warm up your groin and your glutes. Just take a big step out to the side. Lower your hips down and back. Feel a good stretch through this inner thigh. Press back to center. It's this outside leg doing all the work. The stationary leg just kind of hanging out for now. And we'll add in an overhead reach. Two more. Excellent. Side lunges on the other leg. No reach to start, just focus on getting those hips warmed up. Hips go down and back, torso stays upright. And adding in that overhead reach. One more. Excellent. We're going to get into our main workout. So for our first exercise, we have curtsy lunges. Grab your ball. So this exercise is loading up the outside of your hip. You might feel it's a bit sore tomorrow. If you have really strong glutes, then for these ones, you can just hover your back leg above the floor without even touching it down. So that's called a dragon pistol squat. It's very, very challenging, only for advanced people. What I'll demo is just your regular curtsy lunge, which will be fine for 95% of you. So what you want to do is curtsy behind, lower that back knee down, and twist back to look at that leg. Then you're going to come up, balance, driving that knee right up to your ball. Come back, twist to that back leg, come up and balance. And you're going for 10 on each side, just moving at whatever pace works for you. It's your stationary leg that's doing all the work. And again, if you want to try, you can try just hovering that back foot above the floor without touching down. That is the more advanced version. Last one here. Excellent. When you reach 10, switching sides, twisting back, up to balance. Rotating to that back leg. Bending that back knee. So you're loading up the glute of your stationary leg. Two more. Awesome. When you're done with those, grab your milk jugs or your medium weights. We have pullovers. So these are working your upper torso muscles. What you want to do is roll forward, keep your hips up, keep your rib cage down. So tighten up your core. Don't let your ribs flare up. You want to keep a little bit of a contraction through your core. Keeping those arms straight, you're going to let them come right overhead. Feel a good stretch here. It should feel quite hard. Keeping those arms straight, you're pulling them back over top of your chest. So arms come right overhead and then back over your chest. Going for 10. Don't let those elbows bend. Don't let your rib cage pop up. Now, if your weight isn't quite heavy enough for you, if you want to make this tougher, just roll yourself back on that ball and keep your core nice and tight. Now try your pullovers. You will see that is a super intense exercise. So I recommend you start with your shoulders and head on the ball, but you can adjust that if you're feeling really strong so that it's just your mid-back on the ball. I think I have 3 more. Nice work. Let's put those to the side. Next up we have wide mountain climbers. So normally we're doing mountain climbers. I get you to bring your knee across to the opposite elbow. Today what we're going to do is bring your knee out wide to the outside of the same elbow. So going for 20 total, 10 per side. Take breaks as you need to. Roll the ball out to make it harder and in to make it easier. 10 each side, alternating sides. So knee goes to the outside of that elbow. Core stays nice and tight and contracted the whole time. Driving that knee as wide as you can. Breathe. Don't let your hips pop up. Excellent. From there, we're into our first blast of the day, which are slaloms. Show you two versions. So, the last impact version is actually seated on the ball, and all you're going to do is hop one way, hop the other, as fast as you can. A little more impact, more intense version is standing, keep your feet together still, hopping side to side, just like you're skiing. We're going for 1 minute. You choose the version that works for you. Ready? Here we go. Keep it moving. I'll demo both. The chair one takes practice. The ball one, I should say. Both of them take lots of core. Keep those feet together. Moving both at the same time. Woohoo! Halfway. Two, one, break. Excellent. Okay, so we have 2 more rounds of exactly the same thing, starting with those curtsy lunges. I'm very dehydrated today. Okay, here we go. So stepping behind, lowering that back knee, twist to look back at that foot, come up and balance, going for 10, floating that back leg if you feel like you need a bit more challenge. Switching sides at 10. Your front foot stays flat on the floor the whole time, pressing up through the whole foot. From there we have your pullovers. Try to show you a little bit different angle. Going for 10 more, remembering to keep that core super tight so your ribs don't pop up, straight arms, coming right back, feel that stretch, and then come forward. If you're feeling good there, walk yourself a bit back, still keeping your core tight, arms coming forward. It will get exponentially harder the further back you go on that ball. So easier is with your head resting on the ball. Keep those arms straight, keep your core nice and engaged. Excellent. Wide mountain climbers, 20 total, 10 per side. Bringing the knees wide of the elbow. Find that plank position. Nice and slow and controlled. Roll the ball in or out, depending on how much difficulty you want to create for yourself. That knee out and up as high as you can. Excellent. From there, we have our slaloms, either seated or standing. Going for 1 minute. Here we go. Standing looks like this. And I will be right back. Keep going. Whoop, there we go. Feet together. Seconds. Three, two, one. Awesome. All right, we have our final round of curtsy lunges. Going for 10. Here we go. Step behind, twist right back, up to balance. Move at your own pace. Whoop. It is pouring outside, so I had to let Moxie in. Our resident mascot, hey Mox. Last one on this leg. Good. All right. So switching sides. Lower that back knee down. Keep your body nice and upright the whole time. Stepping behind your other leg. Excellent. Into our pullovers. For the final time, keeping your core strong, arms straight. Adjusting your position on that ball as you need to. Here we go. Don't let those ribs pop up. Going for 10 reps. Good job. All right, we have our wide mountain climbers. Final time, 20 total. 10 each way, knee to the outside, hips stay down. Roll the ball in or out as you need to. Nice, easy breathing. All right, good job. We have our slaloms last time. Side to side, I'll do half and half. 1 minute total. Keep those legs together. Here we go. Stay on those toes. Let your arms move naturally to help counterbalance those feet. You can imagine you're pulling for your skis, for your turns. Keep it going. Working your core to balance your legs together. Two, one, and recover. Awesome. Into our next circuit. Grab a quick drink if you'd like. Okay, we have leg swings. Working the outside of your hip. Hopefully you don't have a dog in your way. So your side is on your ball. You can place your bottom hand on the floor. That's where my hand is. You're gonna lift that top leg. And while you're here, you wanna keep that knee straight, and you don't wanna let your foot point up and your knee bend. You wanna just keep that foot pointing straight forward and your leg straight. The higher you lift your leg, the tougher this exercise will be. So to modify intensity, just move your leg closer to the ground. All right, so what we're gonna do is, oh Moxie, what you're gonna do is lift that leg and you're just gonna swing it forward and swing it back. That's for 1 rep, and you're going for 10. Nice and controlled. Get as far forward as you can and as far back as you can while not bending that knee. When you reach your 10, you can switch sides. I'm going to back up here so you can get a better demo, maybe, depending on what Moxie decides to do. Hey, girl. Want to come over here? Hey, come over here. Hey, come here. Moxie. All right, so lifting that leg, coming forward, coming back for 10. Matt is not home right now, so I can't get him to distract the pets. Keep that knee straight. Forward and back. Oh. Excellent job. Moving into some back extensions with an overhead press. This is where you're going to use your light dumbbells or your tubing, your choice. So if you're using tubing, all you're going to do is think about pulling it apart as you press overhead. And if you're using dumbbells, when you're pressing overhead, you're just really focusing on staying in line with your ears and getting full extension overhead. So, hips are on the ball, feet are against the wall, so you're kind of wedged in there. You're going to start bent over, grabbing your dumbbells or tubing, and then you're going to bring yourself up into a back extension. So contracting your lower back, lifting yourself up to a nice straight line. Pull that tubing apart or bring those dumbbells close to your ears. Reach overhead and bring it back, going for 10. Try to keep it up in line with your ears. That's what's going to make it challenging. Keep pulling that tubing apart, trying to rip it in half. And breathing, going for 10. Awesome job. From there we have side crunches. So you're still using the ball on the wall. You're just not using the tubing. Now your waist is going to be on the ball and your feet are against the wall. You want to keep your legs straight, so don't bend your knees. And you're going to stretch out your side between your rib cage and hip and then crunch it together. If your hands are across your chest, that is easier. If your hands are by your head, that is harder. Just going for 10. Big crunch, you should feel that top oblique working. Don't twist at all. Keep both those legs totally straight. Feet against the wall. Ball is under your hip. Stretching at the bottom here. Crunching up together. When you reach 10, you're switching sides. I'll show you the next set from my other wall. I'll turn the camera so you can see a bit different. So hands by your head, it's a little tougher. Hands by your chest, a little easier. Your choice. Go for 10, no cheating, keep those legs straight. Nothing moves besides your waist. Awesome job. When you're done your 10, we're into our next blast, which are, mountain climbers. So you can do these on the ball or on the floor. On the floor, you're here in your high plank position, driving your knees forward. If you're on the ball, you're here, driving your knees forward. Trying to drive your knee right into that ball. Going for 1 minute. Ready? And here we go. Nice work. Keep it going. I'll demo without the ball. Shoulders over wrists. Drive those knees forward. Keep breathing. Splay your fingers and claw down into the ground to protect your wrists. 20 seconds left. Drive those knees forward. Three, two, one. Excellent work. Okay, let's see how we can do with those. With our camera angle for this next one. Here we go. Okay. So, leg swings to start out with. So the ball is underneath your torso, your free hand is on the ground, leg is straight, you're going to swing forward and swing behind you. Going for 10 of these on each side. Keep that knee straight, you should feel your hips, working the top of your hips. You place your hand on your butt right here, it should feel hard. Is this working so hard? Adjust how high your leg is to increase or reduce the intensity. Switching sides at 10. Second side will always be a bit tougher because your bottom hip is still working to help stabilize. If it starts to burn, just lower your leg or take a little micro break for a couple seconds. Excellent job. Into our back extension. This is where I'm hoping this other angle is good for you. Grabbing your tubing or your dumbbells, whatever you have on hand. So my feet are against the wall, ball is under my hips, taking the tubing, pulling it apart. I'm going to contract my glutes and lower back, lifting my body up, pulling that tubing apart as I reach overhead. If you have dumbbells, just make sure you fully extend those arms overhead. Get your arms right in line with your ears. Going for 10. Excellent. Into your side crunches. So the ball is right underneath your waist, in line with your hips. So maybe the upper part of your hips underneath your waist. You can see that my legs are straight. My hips are vertically stacked. They're not tilted one way or the other. They're just directly on top of each other. I'm going to come all the way down here. I'm going to crunch up, bringing my rib cage towards my hips. So if I think about these top oblique muscles, they're the ones doing the work. And if I get that, then hands by my head is more challenging. Going for 10. Big crunch here. Don't let those legs move. That means you're cheating. And when you reach 10, you can switch sides. So find that alignment. Legs are straight against that wall, crunching up, bringing your rib cage towards your hips. Going for 10. Hands by your head is harder. Breathe. Awesome. All right, we're into our mountain climbers just one more time for 1 minute, either on the ball or on the floor. I'll demo both. It's just a comfort thing, whatever works better for you. Try to do it for the full minute. Ready? Here we go. Try not to let your hips pop up. Try to get your knees all the way to the ball if you can. Nice tight core, supporting your lower back. Halfway, you got this. Keep it moving. Splay your fingers, claw down into the ground. Drive those knees forward. Breathe. And relax. Excellent work. Okay, grab a drink if you'd like. We're into our final core circuit. We have ball passes. Okay, you have seen these before. I'm just gonna switch our screen, seeing as I won't be standing anymore. Here we go. So for these ones, adjust how low you bring the ball. So if you find that your back is arching off of the floor, then just don't go as low with the ball, or bend your legs more if you need to. So you're lying on your back here. What you're going to do is pass the ball between your hands and your legs. Lower as low as you can without letting this lower back arch off the floor. When you've hit that breaking point, you're going to bring your legs back up and then switch. Same thing here. Lower as low as you can without letting your back come off the floor. So that was 1. We're going to go for 10. Here's 2. Nice and slow and controlled. 3. You can bend your knees more as well, especially if you have tight hamstrings like me. You won't be able to do this with straight legs. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Next up, we're going to move into a lower body twist. Ball is optional, so you can either squeeze the ball between your legs, or you can get rid of the ball entirely and just squeeze your legs together tightly. Whatever works for you. So this is working your twisting core oblique muscles. Again, if you have tight hamstrings like me, you're going to need to have bent legs. If you have more flexible hamstrings or stronger hip flexors, maybe you can do it with straight legs. So you're here, keep your shoulders on the ground, go as far over to the side as you can, rotating one way, rotating the other. Don't let your shoulders pop up off the ground. They need to stay glued to the ground. Squeeze that ball tightly or squeeze your legs tightly together so that you get your adductors working as well. Those are your inner thigh muscles. 5, 6, that's enough, Mox. 7, 8, 1 more each way, nice tight core. Excellent. Hamstring rolls. So your feet are on the top of the ball. You're going to lift your hips up nice and high. Squeeze your butt to get yourself nice and high. And then if I scoot back here, notice that my toes are pulled back towards my shins. So don't allow yourself to point your feet, because then you're just going to get a calf cramp, and also you're not recruiting your hamstrings as much. So keep those toes pulled back. Hips up nice and high. Arms can be here for balance, or you can lift them up for an added challenge. You're going to roll in and back out super slow, because we're only going to do 10. Lift your hands for balance if you want to, or you can do single leg. For those of you who have mighty legs, that's your option. Let's go for 3 more here. Slow and controlled, really focusing on your butt, lifting up. Excellent. Okay, we're going to finish off today's class with a challenge exercise. So take as much time as you want today to practice this. It's totally up to you. I'll show you the exercise, and then I'll show you a regression if the exercise is a bit too much. So, grabbing your ball, we're going to do fire hydrants. So this is a single leg bridge with rotation. Your one foot is on the ball, and your other foot is off the ball. You're going to bring it right across, twisting underneath as far as you can. Right over top, twisting over top as far as you can. Trying to build up to 10 twists on either side. I'll demo on the other leg just to create some symmetry. So under, over, under, over, whoop, falling off, under, over. Okay, so try for that. If that's too much, don't worry. Get rid of the ball, go into your plank position, go under, see how far under you can kick without touching that foot, and then over, see how far behind you can go without losing balance, under, and over. Other side. You're on that leg in your plank. You're going under as far as you can without touching. Over the top. Under. Over. Those hips are rotating. Under. And over. All right, so build up to 10 on each side if you can, taking breaks as you need to. And then we will stretch you out. So let's start with our knee hug stretch for the outside of your hip. Sitting up nice and tall, one leg in front, hug your knee into yourself. Hold it there. Moving into a spinal rotation, bringing your elbow across that knee and looking behind you. Let's switch sides. Give your knee a big hug, sit up nice and tall. I don't think dogs understand when you're filming a video. Or maybe she does, I don't know. But she's demanding. We love her anyways. And let's twist. Bring your arm across. Come back to center. Let's move into our pancake stretch. Feet nice and wide, toes pointed to the ceiling. Push from behind or walk your hands forward. Feel a good stretch through your inner thigh and hamstrings. Thinking about pulling your chest down towards the floor. If you want, like I find it helpful sometimes to grab onto my toes. Moving into a hip flexor stretch. Let's back up here a bit. All right, so make sure that your tailbone is tucked in, so you're kind of flattening out your lower back. Pushing your hip forward until you feel a stretch in the front of that hip. Making sure you're nice and square. Should feel a stretch in the front, and then you can take that same arm, raise it up and over to extend the stretch into your side. And we'll switch sides. So back into that lunge, tucking your tailbone in, pushing forward, keeping those hips square. Then taking that arm, reaching up and over. And we'll stretch your shoulders out from a seated position. Bring one arm across. It's also a good way to work on some hip mobility. I know for me, sitting on the floor can be quite challenging at times. And switching sides. Bringing your one elbow up to the ceiling, stretching out those triceps and lats. And switching sides. Making cactus arms, Keep your shoulders down as you squeeze the shoulder blades down and back, stretching out your chest, working your upper back. Let's hold that for a few seconds. Excellent. Well, thank you for joining me today. I hope you found Moxie entertaining and you found that this workout left you feeling good and energized and ready to go again for tomorrow's workout. Have a great day.